Hello and welcome to Rain's Kitchen and Garden. My name is Rain. Today I'm making zucchini bread. I'm going to be making a vegan alternative to zucchini bread, and that only means that I'm substituting the eggs with applesauce. You can definitely use eggs for this recipe. This is part of my bread baking series where I'm baking every one of the 40 recipes from the Sonoma collection recipe cookbook titled Bread. I hope that you enjoy it, and please don't forget to check out my bread playlist for other delicious bread making videos. Okay, let's make some delicious zucchini bread. The first thing that I did was I preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 180 Celsius or gas mark 4. I greased with light tasting olive oil and I lightly floured my loaf pan. Now my loaf pan is a standard size 8.5 by 4.5 inches or 21.5 by 11.5 centimeters. So I'm just going to set that aside for now. Now you want a large bowl. And in a large bowl, you're going to add your wet ingredients and your sugar. So I have here some light tasting olive oil. That's a half a cup or 125 mils. And then I have my sugar. I've got some brown sugar here, 3/4 of a cup or 185 grams. Now the next ingredient in the recipe is 2 large, lightly beaten eggs. But I'm going to make a substitute. You can put the eggs in if you want, but today I want to make a vegan zucchini bread or an eggless zucchini bread. So I made some applesauce. This is unsweetened applesauce, and I'll leave a link in the description below and also in the cards above of where you can look for my recipe for unsweetened applesauce. I have half a cup of my homemade unsweetened applesauce here. For every egg that you want to substitute when you're baking, you use 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce. If you only have sweetened applesauce, you could probably use that as long as what you're baking is sweet. I also have some vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So now we're going to whisk this until it's nice and creamy. Okay, that's very creamy. Now we're going to add, my bowl has a curve on the bottom, and if I don't push it down, it tends to wobble. So once in a while, you'll see me pushing it down. Now we're going to add some shredded zucchini. I have 1 cup of shredded zucchini here. And if anyone wants to know for a visual, this is basically what I used. 2 small zucchinis. I peeled them and I cut the ends off, and then I put them through my grater, my cheese grater. So I've got about a cup or 239 grams of shredded zucchini. And I'm going to mix that all up with my spatula until it's nice and blended. Okay, that's nicely blended there. In a medium bowl, I have some all-purpose flour. It's unbleached all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups or 235 grams. And to that, I'm going to add some baking powder. I've got 2 teaspoons, that's about 10 grams. I'm going to add some cinnamon. I've got 1/4 teaspoon. It's hard to measure this in grams, but I would say it's about 1/2 gram. Maybe just use the 1/4 teaspoon to measure that out. I also have some salt, 1/2 teaspoon or 4 grams. And finally some baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon, and that's about 1 gram. And I'm going to mix that all up really well. We want to mix it up well so the cinnamon isn't all clumped in one spot. Nobody wants to bite into a piece of bread that has a clump of cinnamon. Can you imagine? That wouldn't be too good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is add the dry ingredients to my zucchini mix. There we go. And stir that up really well. I want to combine this until it's just combined. The recipe says that the batter will be stiff, so we have to keep that in mind. Just make sure you scrape it down so you don't see any more flour. Well, that cinnamon with my applesauce and the zucchini smells really nice together. Scrape the bottom too, make sure everything's well incorporated and combined. Great. Now we can pour this into our prepared pan. All right, I'm going to try to do this. Got my camera right in front of my face here, so it's hard for me to see. Zucchini bread is one of my favorite breads. Any kind of bread where you add a fruit or a vegetable, you know, like apple bread or carrot bread, it really makes it nice and moist and juicy. All right, there we go. I'm going to take another spoon, get everything off there, and just kind of pat it down. If you want to look at the original recipe from Williams Sonoma, I'm going to leave a link in the description below of the original recipe that I transcribed for you, because the ingredients are a little different. They're always different when I make mine because I use different ingredients, ones that I have. Sometimes I find that cookbooks call for ingredients that are not accessible to me. So I have to sort of wing it and use my own ingredients. Now I'm going to put this in my preheated oven until it's firm to the touch and pulls away from the pan sides, about 50 to 60 minutes. And usually in my oven it takes a little longer, so I'll tell you at the end how long it actually took. But basically I'm going to put a skewer in the middle and it should come out clean when it's done. Well, my zucchini bread is done. I kept it in the oven for the full 60 minutes, and as you can see, it's a beautiful brown color. It's pulled away from the sides of the pan, and I've already tested it, but I'm going to show you. I'm putting my skewer into the middle, and it comes out with just a few crumbs, but it's really nice and clean, so that I know that it's baked. I'm going to leave it here in the pan cooling on my rack for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to turn it over and let it cool completely on the rack. All right, let's turn this out. Comes out very easily because we greased and floured it. I'm going to gently turn it over and let that cool completely on the rack. There's one thing that I noticed about my zucchini bread is that it's not as voluminous as it would have been had I used the eggs instead of the applesauce. Now, eggs do two things with these quick breads. The first thing is that they help make the batter smoother, and that contributes to the volume. But they also, when you add the beaten eggs, they make tiny little air bubbles that expand with the heat of the oven. So that contributes to the volume too. So I noticed that my bread is a lot flatter, but I'm sure it's going to be just as delicious. I love end pieces, so I'm going to cut the end piece off here. Oh yes, that looks so nice. It's nice and crunchy on the crust, and it's smooth and moist on the inside. Oh, this looks really good. Let me just show you this here. Doesn't that look great? I'm very, very happy with my zucchini bread today, and I can serve it to a friend of mine who is vegan, and they will enjoy it just as much as if I had put eggs in it. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I love reading your comments, and I do reply to them. So we'll see you next time on Rain's Kitchen and Garden. Bye!